Today I spent the morning in Karura forest, and you would not believe what I found once I got there. So it turns out you need to have a permit to film in Karura, and what I was going to put up is footage that I took in the forest without a permit. And the footage was of logging. There's a lot of logging in the forest going on right now. It's not anything that can be hidden. You can just walk into the forest right now and you'll see it, but I prefer peace, so I decided to speak about it instead of showing the actual footage. Hi everybody and welcome to my channel, Just Drew, a space where we talk about reinvention, renewal, and life, or whatever I wish to at whatever moment. Today I'd like to talk about assumptions and all that comes along with it. I went to Karura Forest. I've been going to Karura Forest for many years. And for those who don't know, the reason we have Karura Forest is because of Wangari Maathai, or thanks to Wangari Maathai. Wangari Maathai fought for this forest so that it could exist in a city and it could be a forest for the people to go to. And she had a hard time. For anybody who knows Kenya's history, how the previous government fought against her and were just a nuisance, really. But due to efforts, we still have it, and you have to be grateful for it and you have to enjoy it. While I was there were a lot of people enjoying it. Actually, there were schools, children running, getting their physical education, and people walking their dogs and all of that good stuff. But just as the clip showed, there was also a lot of tree cutting. And immediately I got there, I was like, what's going on? Because I thought it was extremely sad that such a level of, distraction could be happening, knowing the history of the forest, knowing that she fought so hard for this forest, for us to have this forest. If she hadn't fought for it, we really would not be having it. To just be buildings and more high rises there, or maybe private homes, more likely private homes. And going to the forest and seeing all the trees on the ground and hearing all the chainsaws, it was just startling to me. It was jarring actually, because I was like, somebody's missing the point. Someone is truly missing the point. And it actually reminded me of a funny story about Wangari Maathai, because I had her speak when I was in university. And she said, if during the times of Jesus they had cut down all the trees, what would he have been crucified on? They would have nothing to crucify him on. And I found it extremely hilarious. Many people found it blasphemous, but I think they missed the point. What she was trying to say is trees do have importance in our lives, in nature, they provide so much. They provide a place for respite, they provide cool air. Just try and think about the use of trees that we had in school. Just think about all those reasons. Anyway, while I was in the forest, I just thought to myself, man, this can be happening. And eventually I walked around and it was very peaceful, and it was still very beautiful, especially when you go further in and you can't really hear the chainsaws, because the sound of the chainsaws is what was just driving me like insane. And then you hear the tree falling on the ground, and I was just like, man, why are we doing this? What level of myopia is this? And I was a bit sad, I'm not going to lie. Then after my walk, I just out, and while waiting for my Uber, I engaged in conversation with one of the forest workers who was there. And I asked him, hey, what is going on here? Why are you guys cutting all these trees? What's happening? And what did he say? I was like, oh, we're getting rid of them because they're eucalyptus. And I was like, oh, okay. Of course. And then he says, we're going to plant indigenous trees. And immediately I felt extremely, extremely dumb. Why? Because we know that indigenous trees are better for our environment. They grow better, and they don't grow the eucalyptus. At least I can say that from my understanding of things, the roots grow down to the water table and they consume a lot of water, and it's not good for, the environment that we have. And I know this because my sister has been planting trees for years. She knows more than me. But if you can explain it better in the comments, please do so. And do not let my botchy explanations confuse the people. But eucalyptus is not good for our environment. That's just it. And when I thought about it, when you walk through the forest, you can smell the eucalyptus immediately, because now as a tree falls, it releases all of these scents. Let me not embarrass myself with my old science. I do not know the terminology, but clearly they are doing this for the good of the forest, and they're doing this for the good of the environment. And the reason I felt really dumb is I immediately assumed is they were destroying the forest for no reason. I immediately assumed that somebody had decided to take a portion of the forest and do with it what they wished. And it spoke to me about the power of assumption and how you can assume things without talking to anybody about them. And you go and your mind runs with it. And you haven't even gotten any more information about what you are assuming. And it's crazy. The mind can really play tricks on us. Ultimately, my message today is get a lot of information before assuming stuff. And as Benny Hinn used to say, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. So I'm going to try and assume less, especially because I'm just back and I don't know really what's going on with what. There are a lot of complaints, and there are even complaints about the amount of construction in the city. I will say it is concerning, especially when there are buildings that are so close and so many trees have been cut down. And some of these developers, they have no foresight. There's myopia going on, and it's mostly about money when they build. But on the flip side, I think you should trust in what people are doing. Trust the people who are trying to make the country retain its greatness, even if you do not know what is happening. Yes, it is good to question, and which is why I did question, because if I'd just gone around assuming, I'd have passed the message that, hey, they're just cutting trees in Karura forest and nobody cares and blah blah blah, which is pointless. So my message to you today is assume less. Okay, assume less. I also want to say thank you for all the new followers, and thank you for all the new views that I've gotten in the past few days, and the warm messages I've received. It's very nice, let me say. And if you have any thoughts about what I've said today about assumption, well, that's a big horn. If you have any thoughts about it, let me know in the comments, and till next week.